Welcome to Bout That Life Podcast. I'm Coach Chris Collins.
This is Coach MJ, GGT.
And we're here to talk about AAU basketball, life in general, and everything in between. Please go ahead and get us follow on Instagram. Go ahead, hit that subscribe, and hit that bell notification on YouTube. We always appreciate the support for those who have been, listening in, tuning in, helping us out. We appreciate it a lot. Mark, we talk about it all the time, all the texts and everything we're getting, right? So, our videographer, Ty, he's doing a phenomenal job too. So
shout out to Ty.
Yeah. His work can't be underrated enough. So please be sure to hit that follow. Again, one small click for you means a lot for us. So, let's get into the show today. We got our first director, AAU director. He formerly was with Hot Shots. He was with YBA for a while. Then he ventured off and created his own program. I'll get into, who he is, but I've known this guy a few years, since 2015, right?
Just about.
Yeah, 2015, 2016. He's obviously dealt with his fair share of ups and downs, and so just like any of us, but he seems to really be passionate about, what he's doing for the kids and trying to, not only be, let's say, a role model, but just try to be a better man every day, right? Fair enough to say. And I can definitely appreciate that. And he's decided to come on the show to kind of speak his truth, address any bullshit, and just make sure, he gets his voice out there. And I'm always down to support that. So, again, any trainers, coaches, AAU directors, even if you hate YBA or just don't want to feel like you need to get your voice out, please, by all means, hit me up. I'm always around. I'm always here. I'm always available. And let's sit down and talk about it. But without further ado, let's introduce TJ Little. So, TJ, all right, let's get a rundown of who you are and what you're doing and the progress you've made. So, for him personally, he's played AAU, started AAU in the 7th grade. His main team was the Oregon Magic. They have a different name now, but that was during the time you were there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. He played varsity all 4 years in high school, went JC, went to Siskiyous, right?
Yeah.
Siskiyous in Weed, California. From there, Northwest Christian, and finished out at New Hope Christian. So, props there, and, going to college, because that's what we all tried to do at some point, right? Right now, he is the current founder of Clutch Elite Training. He is also the founder, director, and overall does everything for his AAU club, Clutch Elite AAU, correct?
Correct.
All right. He's been training since 2015. Grew up in Portland and grew up in Florida. Now he's out here living in Sacramento, Rockland area, right? Making his way just like the rest of us. Biggest thing I wanted to tell you first, congratulations on your win for your 8th grade team, because I saw it myself against CTB. That's Count the Buckets for people who might not know what program that is. That is a they're a program that has some big kids, some very, very oversized kids, and I saw the game. Actually, funny enough, TJ wasn't coaching it. One of your assistant coaches, or I'm assuming.
Yeah, one of my parents, man. The tournament we had a conflict with the time, so I had to coach in my 6th grade, and he volunteered to coach the 8th grade. So.
Nice.
Shout out to Tim Sotelo for doing that for me.
All right, but good stuff. But they pulled it together. Like I said, I saw the game myself. They pulled it together. It was a great win. If you look at the eyeball test, you look at that CTB team, they shouldn't lose to anybody. And funny enough, they went 0-2. So I think they got to get back to the drawing board and figure out what they're gonna do from there. But that's really what it's about when it comes to these AAU weekends. It's just to play, win, lose, figure it out, get better, rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, right now there's no expectations right now besides get better.
Exactly, and we're fortunate enough to have a place where these kids can still do that, especially dealing with COVID and shutdowns and every single day is a new story, a new amount of cases. We don't know what's going to happen. So every day we get an opportunity to get these kids out on the basketball court with refs and parents supporting. I'm all good with. How many teams do you have in your club?
Right now we got 3 teams. We got a 6th grade about to be 7th grade, and then we got the 8th grade about to be 9th, and got the 17s started. But here soon we're about to add a 3rd and 4th combo team and try to get that going because some of my parents want to do that. So I'm all for that. And at the end of the day, as long as it's ran the right way and it's coached the right way, I don't really care who participates or how many teams we have.
Good. And I'm assuming you got a lot of parent support and, in terms of, like you said, you had a parent that helped out with you coaching because I'm sure you run into the same situation I do because, I coach multiple teams, right?
Yeah,
like
man, you coach every team. You saying you coach a couple teams. Nah, man, you coach everything in YBA. So that's
I try, man. I just try to manage it all together. But I know, when you have multiple teams, and Mark, this is more information for you, but if you have multiple teams, at some point you're going to reach conflicts. Times are going to conflict, especially if both teams are winning. If you have 2 teams that are winning, 3 teams that are winning, I mean, the championships typically start at all the same times. So then you got to start making judgment calls. Like, okay, does this team need me more? Does this team need me more? You know what I mean? My rule of thumb is like, the younger they are, the stupider they are. So you gotta. So if it's my 5th grade in the championship and my 16th in the championship, I'm probably gonna coach the 5th grade.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of part of it. But at the end of the day, too, like the kids, everybody's got. Without saying it, everybody's got a team that they like a little bit more than the other team that gives them a little bit less hassle. So, the kids pay attention to that too. So if you go to coach, your 6th grade over your 8th grade, the 8th grade, like, oh, he don't really care about it. You know what I mean? So, but
it's hard finding that balance. No, you're right. A lot of coaches, especially when they coach multiple teams. Truth be told, we have favorite teams. We have favorite players. I know I have favorite kids I train.
Yeah.
Everybody got that.
Yeah.
So for all the coaches and people that try to pretend like they don't, you're full of it. Yes, you do. So the first question I want to ask you, talk about your journey from creating your AAU program and the experiences, the ups, the downs, the things that people might not know because obviously, YBA we've been here a while, so we're kind of a well-oiled machine, right, at this point because we've been doing it. You and like Montel and other guys, Fred from Chico Avengers or Chico Tar Heels. He changes his name every week, but either one. No, but he's a good dude and he's working hard too. But you're kind of on the rookie years. You know what I mean? And you're trying to figure out how does it work. So talk to me about that.
I mean, man, honestly, back in 2015 when I moved out here, I met Derek Watson, man, and shout out to him because he really got me started with coaching and working with the youth and stuff like that. So, but really, when I left Hot Shots, and I thought the grass was a little bit greener on the other side, and I came over to YBA, you know what I mean, and it was just a little bit different for me, and not what I was expecting, you know what I mean. So when I started my own program, it was based on just trying to get the kids the opportunity to play and taking those kids that was like the 8th or 9th man on the team and putting them to be like my 3rd or 4th best player on my team, and I think. Throughout my journey in basketball, it's always been about the opportunity. The opportunity is what, if you get an opportunity, you could do whatever with that opportunity. And, I think kids that are 8th or 9th man on the team, they might not get the opportunities that the 2nd or 3rd best player gets. So that's what it was about. And it's been a tough journey, man. I mean, honestly, every day I get a phone call from a parent that's like, oh, why can't my kid start? Like, or like, what can I do to get on your team, or hey, I can't afford this. And when you're independent, man, it's tough. If a parent can't pay, it's like that's coming out your pocket. There is no scholarship fund. There is none of that. So that's been one of the biggest challenges, is making sure that everything is paid for and everything is accounted for. But I mean, other than that, man, it's been a beautiful journey. Honestly, I every day I wake up and I'm glad that I can say I'm my own boss when it comes to AAU, and I could decide where I want to play and who I want to play and what kids I want on my team and move my own way. So, but one thing I would say that people don't really know is that regardless, parents, you might think it's not, but it's important that you pay your fees, yo. Like, like it's important because when that tournament director hits you up and you got a kid that ain't paid, it's like that's coming out your pocket. You know what I mean? And the parents, people wouldn't understand how much it takes to really run a program until you get into running a program. So I would say that's the one thing I would like parents to know is like pay your fees, yo.
It's no different if you're a trainer and you're renting a court and your clients don't pay the trainer fee. You're like, wait a minute, you know, how the hell am I gonna pay for this court? Right. So no, I get it, man. I get it. No, it sounds like you're finding out, you know, kind of what's going on and how it works and the biggest word of advice I could give you, brother, is just, you know, network, talk to the right people, meet the right people. You know what I mean? Knowing directors is always a bonus, right? Because they can work with your schedules. They can set things up for you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, being aware of your competition, you know, and just trying to make sure everything is very structured, right? That's the most important thing. Structure is always the biggest and most important thing.
Yeah.
So you know, that's just my word of advice. Mark, you got anything on that?
No, not really. I mean, just listening to him, been listening to you.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if I want to do the AAU thing, man. Just like I said,
it's fun though, man.
Yeah.
Like I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I got a day job, bro, but I mean, when you wake up on Friday, because normally right now tournaments are ran on Fridays, you know what I mean? You wake up on Friday and you got something to do, yo. Like you got something to look forward to after you get off of work or whatever. Yeah. And then the weekends, you know, with the COVID stuff right now, everything is really shut down. So being able to go out there and coach some kids on the weekends, bro, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
yo.
no, I feel you on that.
If you should get with Chris and just test it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just take one of his teams. He got about 30 teams, so just take one of his teams for a weekend and just try it out.
Right.
Like it.
He's been trying to get me on that too. It's the parent thing, you know. It's different.
Then I guarantee by the end of the weekend you're gonna have cupcakes, all that. Yeah, parents gonna be like, "Oh, we love Coach Mark. Like we love Coach Mark. Can he coach us again?" Like,
he's right.
You know what I mean? And then 3 weeks down the road, you're gonna be getting the email. It's like, my kid's not playing.
Right.
So,
and I always think that's a sensitive balance because I do like what you said, saying, you know, you do want to give the guys that might on another team be the 9th man or the 10th man, you want to give them an opportunity that they might not get with a certain team. And let me make this clear in case people even want to hear it or know it, just so I go on record saying it. I'm an advocate of kids playing for multiple teams. I think 2 is good. I think 3 is pushing it. More than that, it's just way too much. But I am definitely an advocate of kids playing for multiple AAU programs because they can learn something from a different coach. They can hear different voices from those coaches. It just enhances their IQ. Obviously, assuming that the coaches are competent and doing the right type of coaching. But you know, I'm not. There are some programs and some guys, they'll probably never go out publicly and say it, but they're against kids playing for multiple programs, you know, especially their star players. They're like, man, you play for me and nobody else. I don't care. If my kid wants to hoop, go hoop. All I tell them is don't get injured. Like, if you're going to get injured in my game. So that's pretty much my overall synopsis with that. The next thing I want to ask you is, so, you know, me and you've known each other a while. We know each other personally outside of just, you know, the AAU world and basketball world. You know, we've had some good conversations. You've dealt with a little bit of stigma, reputation, right? You know, and I know, like I said, from our personal conversations, and obviously I'm not going to get into detail about that you know, you seem to want to shed a lot of that off, right?
Yeah, man, that's I mean, everything that happened, you know, it all happened for a reason, and I don't take nothing back. But you know, if I could go back in time and tell my younger self different things, I probably would tell him, you know what I mean, like, just look at the overall picture, like look at the longer journey, you know what I mean, think about the things that you really want out of life instead of what you want right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then like I said, TJ, for me, man, I mean, we're all human. Nobody's infallible. I have flaws. Mark has flaws. Everybody has flaws, and we all just try to do better each and every day. And I can respect anybody that's out there doing that. Is there anything personally you want to address or talk about, or just speak your truth?
I feel like a lot of people that don't know me, don't know my heart, don't know my truth. They kind of look at me and be like, oh, there's no way he could do the things that we hear that he does. Like, like right now at my house, like I got 2 kids, bro, that stay with me every day, bro, like all summer. When they do go back, they go back to Fresno. I pick them up every Wednesday or Thursday or whatever, and they come stay with me. They play for me. They train with me for free. I know Coach Mark could probably attest to this. Like, there's just certain kids that you're like, yo, like I want you around me, like, because at the end of the day, like I know what kind of influence I can have on you. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't know, that my heart is big, yo. Yep. But at the end of the day, I also have to be a human being too. Like I got challenges too. I got things that I got to overcome too. But for all those people that say that, like, oh, he's untrustworthy in this, I don't owe nobody no money. I don't owe no director no money, no parent no money, no nothing. All my fees are paid for, and everything that I said I was going to do for my program, I've done. And I know my parents can attest to that. And to be honest, with me being at Hot Shots, it was just a different thing. Like when I first met you, Chris, like I told you, like, Hot Shots is a stepping stone to like YBA, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I had that team or some of those kids that you had, you know what I mean? They was at Hot Shots with me, when they started.
Like Eli, Matt, Jay, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, when they left, it was like a thing where it was like, dang, like, am I a bad coach? And I always looked at myself like, dang, like, maybe I was just a bad coach. And then I started looking at the bigger picture, which was they were just outgrowing that program.
Yeah.
And YBA put him on a different platform. And when I left Hot Shots, I came over to YBA, and that whole situation, shout out to Coach Adam, he really helped me with
that's my guy. Got to give a splash for Coach Adam.
Yeah,
man.
he really helped me with coaching, yo. Like, he developed my IQ as far as understanding different schemes and understanding how to put together a team and not just trying to go get the best player. Because a lot of times you can get 10 good players, but then that team just not win. So shout out to him for that. But when I was here, it was just a thing where, I didn't feel like it was really my calling. I felt like I was a better coach than what I was getting credit for, as far as, the level of kids I was coaching. And that's nothing against y'all. It's just, obviously the best kids are going to go to the best team at that point in time. And I felt like I could never grow, and maybe my ambitions and my drive was a little bit beyond my britches, like it was just a little bit bigger than what, they was ready to give me. So, and just the way I felt as a coach just wasn't, I didn't feel right. Okay. So I left, but, I still appreciate, Ken and y'all giving me a chance to put my coach in there on the platform and give me the kids that I had. And, when I left, I actually, this is the one thing I really want people to understand. When I left, I told Ken I was leaving, and I never really told my parents yet. And he asked me, like, are you going to tell your kids? And I'm like, nah, not really. I kind of just, I'll send out an email or whatever, And when I finally told them, they was like, oh, so are you going to start your own thing, or what you going to do? And I really was against starting my own thing. I really didn't want to do my own thing yet. I really just wanted to sit back and just watch everything unfold. And I had too many parents hit me up for me not to. So I just want everybody to know that I didn't steal no kids. I actually, all the parents sent Ken an email and just said, we're not coming back. And that was their choice, you know what I mean? And shout out to them for allowing me to coach their kids for the last year and a half. And that was the first team that we started with Clutch Elite. And so I just want people to know that. And I want people to know also too that, any kid that I coach or that I train, 9 times out of 10, I've known them. I've coached them before, and if they go play for another program or if they started playing for another program, that's on them, and I welcome that. And just like you said before, I hope kids play for multiple programs. But at the end of the day, I was raised on loyalty. So if I train you for free or if you play for me for free, I expect you to be there. So I don't want nobody to think that that I'm stealing their kids or whatever. Just understand that kid probably trains with me, and he trains with me for free, because a lot of my kids train for free, because at the end of the day, I know that if I had what we have now, bro, just not even a basketball player, just a better person, like that's the biggest side of it. Is we all think the bigger picture is the NBA. It's not. The bigger picture is becoming a better person.
Absolutely.
And basketball can teach us that. So that's what I want people to know about me, as far as me as a person and me as a trainer and a coach, that my heart is in it for the right reasons. Whatever you heard about me, you could take it with a grain of salt and just come meet me for face to face. And I've lost the one thing I do want to say is, one of y'all friends, Marcus, man, I love you, dog. Like, I don't know what people told you or what people said about me to you or whatever, but whenever you got my number, hit me so we could get that squashed, because at the end of the day, I respect what you do as a trainer with these kids in the Elk Grove, Sheldon area. So, just hit me up, yo.
Good. We need to make sure we tag Marcus so he hears that shit.
Yeah.
No, that's great, man. I'm glad you spoke about all this, man. No, that's good. Mark, what?
Just listen before I go into my question. Just listening to you and everything like that. Like, I feel like, I know, of course, right now you're doing the coaching thing, the training, and you used to be a trainer, right? You started off with the training stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, just listening to you, you know what I'm saying, I feel like we're kind of similar in a way where, even with me, like, I started off training people for free. Like I like, my wife still is on me even till this day about that, which I understand, it's all about feeding your family and everything like that. But I've just listening to you, I feel like you have the same philosophy as me, where the kids that I trained from day one who I didn't charge are helping me financially now because of where they're at development wise. Because just listening to you, how you're saying, you're taking the kid who doesn't really play, who's like the 8th or 9th man, he's like the 2nd or 3rd option on your team, where you're trying to find diamond in the roughs, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I believe in too, is when you take the time and spend time with a player, you're saying you got 2 kids that stay with you and everything like that, who be at your house. Like, I be doing that too sometimes, but I don't do it with all the kids, you know what I'm saying? You can't. Yeah, because there's certain kids that you build a bond with or there's a relationship with. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, where when it comes to on the court, off the court, it don't matter. Everything clicks. And I feel like, and that's why I don't really want to be a coach, because as a trainer, you know what I'm saying, I can be real and be like, I like that kid more. That kid puts in work. That kid does this and all that. So listening to you it's very similar to like my process and how I think. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, so, me, I'm not coaching or anything. I'm all about the skills training. How was that jump from, in the beginning? Because I know how it was for me when I first started, when I first moved out here from San Diego to Sacramento. How was that in the beginning, trying to, get your name out there, trying to, build your name, and then at the same time going from that to now you're, doing the AAU thing?
Man, I mean, that whole journey, once again, shout out to Derek for that journey. And actually, I never wanted to train kids, to be honest. Okay. When I moved here in 2015, I just wanted to coach. And I just wanted to coach and I always wanted to coach the best kids. Everybody always wants to coach the best kids.
Of course.
And I started with the D team. So, but I mean, that journey was hard. I mean, because I went from coaching, and when I like I said, when I left Hot Shots, just some of the kids was like, "Oh, coach, like, or what are you gonna do?" Like, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." Like, and they were like, "Can you work with my kid?" And I'm like, "Okay, like, all right, I could teach him a little something." So then I started working with like 2 or 3 kids, and then it kind of developed into like where I had kids hitting me up again, and Tet was like, "Hey man, like, you should just start training." So then he was like, "Go to USA.com and get certified and do this and that." So I did that, and then that journey was that whole thing was kind of was tough because, you know, if you were trying to get good kids, you got to prove what you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got to show them that, like, oh, you got the IQ to get them to the next level and stuff like that. But also too, trying to keep a steady clientele. And I don't know how you do it. I don't know how I don't know how you do it either, Chris. But y'all like training, y'all train full time. Like, I can't do that. Like, I can't train full time. Like, I have a day job.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so
It's a tough act.
that's the other part too. Like,
Yeah.
I have a day job. So like, when kids hit me up and be like, "Yo, can I come train?" I don't need that money. Like, I got a day job that feeds my family. You know what I mean? That feeds me. So I have the luxury of training kids for free, but at the same time, like I said before, if I train you for free, that loyalty and that respect should be there. So, but back on that, like, I mean, coaching it's a challenge because you're trying to mesh 10 different personalities together, and you're constantly. I never really understood how much you go through with parents, because parents can make your life tough. But my parents, they're kind of, I didn't really get that until like probably this year. Like at the very first beginning of it, I didn't really get no complaints. But this year is like, now it's like, what can I do? What can my kid do to start? Like, why is my kid not starting? Like, you said we were gonna go play in this tournament. Why are we not playing? And, you know, it's just, and it's a thing where it's like, okay, with quarantine and everything, you really see what kids want to work. And I got like 6 kids on my team right now that I've constantly worked with since the day one of quarantine. And then there's like 4 or 5 kids that's just like, oh, we were just playing for the fun of it. And you as a coach, you're thinking like, okay, like, as to build a team, you're like, okay, like those kids, that 4 or 5 kids that's not working, like, now I see what I got to really cut off the top to get my team to the next level. Those 6 kids, that's my bread right there. But them other 4 kids, I can't use them. I can't because at the end of the day, the grind of AAU is different. Like you man, I mean, if you want to get to the elite level, which is what every coach wants to get to, you got to have kids that's willing to put in the work. And right now, you know, this really shows what kids want to put in the work right now. So that challenge is just tough, but it's whatever now. I mean, every day is different. I wish I could train every day like y'all, like I said before.
I mean, it's a balancing act, brother. And you know, you seem to be doing just fine, like from someone looking from the outside in. You know what I mean? You seem to be managing it, you know, taking care of other people's kids, training, being a director, talking to parents, getting your kids into the courtside events, coaching the teams, trying to make sure they're scheduled so they don't conflict. Like, literally, me just saying it is exhausting. So that's what you live in. You know,
doing everything. You got to, because if you want things done right and you want people to respect you, you got to do it yourself first. Start it with yourself first, and then bring in other people. I don't want to bring in, you know, I always ask me like, why don't you get an assistant coach? Well, it's because me as a person, I have high standards, you know what I mean, for somebody that I'm going to allow coach the kids that trust me. And the parents that trust me. You're not just going to bring in anybody. And that, trying to find somebody that has the dedication and drive that you have to get these kids better and to love these kids the way they should be loved, it's hard. That everybody says they want to coach until you get into the nitty gritty of coaching, which is dealing with the parents and the conflict of waking up every day and knowing that you might have to answer an email.
So again, like I said, parents are assholes. Just shots fired on them because parents are assholes. But you know, you work through it, you get better, and you learn from it. So with the current state of AAU, with COVID, with everything going on, you know, what's your observation? I mean, your overall, you look at AAU basketball, what's your overall take from it all right now? I'm really conflicted with it because honestly, I see some of these kids getting offers like, and there ain't no AAU being played right now. No live tournaments, and I'm like, I see this kid in 9th grade. Like, okay, I see a little highlight tape. He was at an open run, and now all of a sudden I see he got an offer from Texas. It's like
I seen that too.
Like what? Like, how is that happening? And then my kids are asking me like, "Yo, coach, like, what tournament is they in? Like, what bracket was they in?" I'm like, "Oh, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know." Yeah. Like, and then you know, it's hard too because I got some high school kids that got some talent. You know what I mean? And not having not having no live events. I don't mean no D1 talent, but some NAI, D2 talent, and not having no tournaments right now is tough because those kids are missing out. And it's a struggle trying to find a viewing service or a live stream where you can get it to a college coach or something like that. So I wish that AAU would chime in and really say something and really set some standards on what's allowed and what's not allowed, because right now everybody's kind of doing whatever. Like I hear that, I think some team from SAC just went to Indiana and played.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I heard it was pretty good competition out there. But then you hear that there's some team playing in New York and Wyoming and stuff like that. And you want to, your kids are seeing that just on social media too. So you want to, you getting the questions like, Coach, can we go out there and play? Like there's college coaches out there, and you have to sit there and tell them like, no, that's not true. Like, no, there's no coaches. Like it's a dead period right now, yo. So.
Yeah, there's definitely.
But for whoever found out how these kids getting offers in the 8th grade, 9th grade, let me know. Shout out, let me know. Hit me up, because I think I got one kid that should be getting some offers as an 8th grader. But
Fair enough, man. Yeah, it's definitely kind of tough, the situation we're in. Courtside, we're lucky enough is doing their thing, and they're going to continue to do their thing. The guy that owns the building, this is his take on it. He just looks at it like, when I shut down, I was losing money. He's took him 20 years to build what he's got, and he just looked at it like, the government didn't help me. The federal government didn't give me a payment protection loan. They didn't give me the small business administration loan. Like, I got no help. And this is from Elijah Wan, the director. He told me this came from the owner's mouth. So he said, so if I don't run, I'm going to shut down, and I'm going to lose my gym, and I'm going to lose everything. If I open up, the people in the public can decide, and we can still run our tournaments. If the mayor or the sheriffs come and shut me down, I still lose my building. So he's like, it's a lose-lose either way.
True that.
Right? But at least this way I can fight to stay alive. You know what I mean? And essentially he's doing the exact same thing we're doing here at YBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
he's
is
deciding his own fate.
Yeah, he's just like, we got to fight to stay alive. So I can respect it. So what's the end game, TJ? What 4 or 5 years from now? What's the plan?
4 or 5 years from now, I hope to have a facility. We're working on that right now, matter of fact. So hopefully 4 or 5 years from now, have a facility. And I still want to stay small. Like, okay. I don't want to grow like YBA. Like, I'm not trying to have like 30 teams. Like, sure. I'm not trying to do that.
It's a lot.
I still want to stay with the same, 3 to 5 teams. And hopefully by then, like, Clutch Elite Training will be able to sponsor Clutch Elite Basketball.
I like that.
I think that's big. Like, if you can get a kid from inner city that can't really afford to play AAU, and you can sponsor him, and that goes back to that loyalty thing that we talked about before. Obviously, you're not going to do that for everybody, but in 4 or 5 years, that's what I really hope to happen, is to be able to have kids in the program that don't have to pay $900 to $1,000 to play. And to get seen by college coaches or whatever, or to just play in general. So I think that's the end goal. And then I hope that people will see Clutch Elite Training and Clutch Elite Basketball, and it'll become a recognized program in the Sacramento area and hopefully in the region. But that's a long journey.
I mean, it's just
20 years.
Hey man, if you do this as long as you want to, right? You get in what you get out what you put in, and it is literally just a daily process. It's the best way I can put it. It's every day. Like Will Smith said, I'm going to lay a brick down as perfect as possible every single day, and then eventually I'm going to end up with a wall that's perfect. You know what I mean? So. Just lay your bricks down every single day, man. And
go chase it. We only live once. What else are we gonna do? That's how I look at it.
Why not? Like
chase it.
I was just thinking of a great quote. I just shared it on my social media. Les Brown said this. He said, we were born as individuals. Typically, we're all born as individuals. We die as copies. You know what I mean? And that's pretty dead on for a lot of people. You know what I mean? And it is very, very hard to keep your individuality and move and do what you want in the right way. without rubbing people the wrong way, without somebody judging you, looking at you. It's human nature. We judge each other, and that's okay. I'm actually not. I don't look at judgment as necessarily a bad thing, because you grow through it. You grow through getting out of your echo chambers, right? Everybody wants to be in an echo chamber traditionally, right? We want to be around the people that think like us, the people that see the same things as us, the people that agree with us. That's an echo chamber. We always traditionally want to be that, but how do you grow? How do you learn? How do you evolve sitting in an echo chamber? You don't. Essentially, you don't, and you just die as a copy of everybody else. You know what I mean? So I challenge any coaches, any parents, anybody, any players out there, get out your echo chamber, get out your comfort zone, and learn, and pick and choose, what works. So, switching gears, let's talk about current events. Let's talk about what's going on. Obviously, the NBA scrimmages happened.
Yes,
right.
Thank God.
About time for some basketball,
right?
Some real basketball, at least.
Yeah, no NBA, and it look phenomenal. Y'all see LeBron's beard?
Yeah.
See, them grays is kicking in tough.
I couldn't do it. When I get gray hair, I'm gonna still doubt myself.
Yeah, that big gray patch under there. I was like, man.
by the time because I know he's gonna be playing until he's 40. That
Yeah,
beard is gonna be white.
For real.
Beard is gonna be white.
For real. Like Tim Duncan. Remember Tim
Yeah,
Duncan? He's rocking
yeah.
like gray dreads right now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, he really should just go bald.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
I don't know if y'all saw the back of his head.
I saw it,
You know
bro.
what I mean? Like, Bron, just go bald, bro. Like, I'm your biggest fan, but go bald, bro.
He gonna have to
Get the
soon.
MJ going.
Yeah.
Right? There's ain't nothing wrong with it, man.
Making millions and still ain't got no.
For real, for real.
Come on.
I speaking of the Lakers, obviously, Mark, that's your team.
Hey.
Is Lakers your team, TJ, or what's your team?
I'm not really a Lakers fan. I'm more like a LeBron fan.
Okay,
so,
Okay, so you a Laker fan right now?
I mean, but if he went to the Heat tomorrow, I'd be a Heat fan again too. So
All right, fair enough. And Ty, my man, and yeah, there you go. He's a Laker fan too. So I'm alone out here. I'm a Warrior fan, so I don't give a shit though.
you gonna be a Warriors fan.
Well, I'm from Oakland.
Yeah,
I'm literally from
Oakland.
Oakland. I tell you, I loved them when we sucked too. I did.
True fan.
But honestly, man, I looked at that roster. I mean, top to bottom, man, that is such a tough roster. You know what I mean?
A lot of experience.
Like you got guys off the bench who might typically start or at least be a six man somewhere else. I mean, you got J.R. Smith, Deion Waiters, Dwight Howard. I mean, you still got guys who are giving you great minutes. And watching the scrimmage, I mean, their chemistry. Kuzma looks great.
Yes.
Like,
I actually wanted them to trade him.
Shit. I'm glad they did now, man. And they kept talking about it like this is our future. This is our franchise. This is our future. And I mean, and keep in mind, I mean, it is just a scrimmage, but man, did it looked good. Let's talk a little bit about Lou Williams.
Oh yeah.
He had to get to the strip club.
Tough. That's
Man
tough.
said he was picking up food. Like, he was picking up food. Like, whatever kind of food you picking up, Lou. Like,
Right. The KFC wasn't open.
Right.
That's like the Jesse Smollett shit. But it didn't. He said he was going to Subway 2 a.m. like in Chicago. Like what? He said sandwiches.
I'm pretty sure the club only served like wings. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you could have hit up like Buffalo Wild Wings or like Wingstop or
My
something.
man said he went to and I love on ESPN and stuff how they say gentleman's club.
Yeah.
Right. He went to a gentleman's club.
You
Like
want to say strip club?
right, because if you say strip club, it makes it worse. It's like, no, he went to see some hoes. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. They're stuck in their bubble. He was like, I want to see some titties, and he did his thing. So I thought that was hilarious. So, Lou, I hope everything works out for you. What do you think? They're gonna give him a suspension?
I don't think it's a suspension. I think it's just like a quarantine. I think it's like he has to miss two of the real games after exhibition because he has to go through his little quarantine thing.
Right.
So that sucks. But I don't know if he's going to get
That's pretty
suspended.
much a suspension anyway.
Yeah, it is.
You got to miss 2 games
Yeah.
and it's not by choice. That's pretty much a suspension anyway.
And I saw some on the Clippers. Pat Bev isn't there right now too, and a couple of others. So
But they don't really need Lou right now. To be honest, I mean, these first little 8 playoff or seeding games, you want to call it or whatever, they're not really that important. I thought it was going to be a little bit more important before they came out and said, like the NBA awards going to be decided before the bubble. Like, I was like, okay, LeBron gonna come back and like he gonna dominate. Like,
right.
8 games, like he about to kill people 8 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I do like, because we talked about this before, Mark. I do like all the safety measures they're taking,
Yeah.
and they're they're doing a lot to
of
to
testing.
take care.
I wonder if we could do that, like, for, like, if you did that for, like, just the varsity programs,
What?
like, in high school.
Oh no,
Like, just
no.
testing.
Oh, like
once a
COVID
week.
testing?
Yeah, like, just once a week.
I don't
Like,
know.
I wonder
Expensive,
how
Yeah.
much it would cost, like, to do that.
I don't know. It would all have to be funded by either the federal government or the state, and I mean, California, we have the economy to do it, but there's so many high schools and so many players.
Because when you think about it, like, we getting shut down because of LA, to be real with you. We getting shut down because of LA. They account for, like 60% of the cases that we have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, up here in Northern California, we should be able to, like, at least do some kind of sports.
True. Well, no, they're finding ways. I mean, the thing is, talking to a few people that work for the county, the reason, kind of, at least the way it was explained to me, the reason sheriffs and things kind of can't shut things down, because there's no guideline. Without a guideline or a precedent or a law, essentially Courtside isn't breaking anything. Let's say morally it looks bad, but they're not legitimately breaking something because there's nothing in place. Right. So you can't charge them for absolutely nothing there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And shout out to Courtside, because they are doing the best they can in a tough situation. So, it will be interesting when high school sports start back up, and that's not till March.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to piggybacking off the NBA. Let's talk about the WNBA. I don't know if you guys saw it. I saw the highlights with was it the Sparks? I think it was the LA Sparks and someone else. They walked off during the national anthem.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Yeah, they, instead of kneeling, they walked. Both teams completely walked out, and they spoke about Breonna Taylor. It's been over 130 days, and her murderers are still not charged. And yes, I said murderers. I don't care if they're police officers. They murdered that woman. How do we feel about this?
Man, I mean, I saw that they all have her name on their back. Every team, every woman. So hopefully that makes a big enough impact. I think that's powerful what they did, before the national anthem, how they walked out. But at the end of the day, hopefully as the season goes on, that resonates to some of these people who can make something happen when it comes to trying to arrest these cops and everything like that. Because, I mean, as long as we just keep being loud, something has to happen.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping. Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't know why it's taking them so long to, seek justice or get justice for her. I mean, it's amazing that you see star athletes putting her on that platform and trying to get justice for her. But to be honest with you, I don't see why it's taking so long.
Yeah.
I mean, it was blatant murder. I mean, you don't go in nobody's house and fire 20 bullets. Like, hey, you're gonna claim self-defense with 20 bullets?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
nah.
It's very sad, and my heart goes out to that family, and I couldn't imagine what that must feel like. But the family of Breonna Taylor is handling it with such grace, and very level head. They're not out here just making a bunch of social media posts cursing everybody out and acting a fool. They're doing things very much the right way. So you have a lot of people in your corner. If this episode was ever, if you guys were ever to hear this, Miss Taylor's family, just know you got some people out here in Northern California, along with the rest of the country, that our hearts go out to you. So let's talk about the Nuggets, right?
Ooh, yeah.
With their fucking Monstar lineup.
Right.
Bobo's 20. Just throw that out there. And one of their potential premier scorers that can come off the bench, and who what's that boy's name? The light skinned cat.
Michael Porter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the future, man.
Yeah.
Those two.
He's 22.
Yeah, that's the future.
Come on, bro. They literally said, we're going to take the Rockets formula and we're going to put it all at 7 feet. Like Millsap, I think, is 6'9".
Yeah.
And I want to say he's the shortest guy out there.
They had him at power forward.
Yeah, and
they had Bobo at small forward.
Exactly. And Jokic
at point guard, though, like,
and he lost like 30, 40 pounds though. You know what I mean? It's insane.
You ain't never seen that before, besides in the Space Jam movie,
right? I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. What do we think? Do you think that's feasible? You think that's a threat to some of these
I think
teams?
they're only doing that right now for the exhibition games. I don't know if you can really do that in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know how the playoffs are. You know, you can figure somebody out. So if you look at the Rockets, I feel like everybody's been figured them out during the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So with a lineup like that with all bigs, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would just guard Jokic 94 feet. Get his ass tired.
For real.
I mean, in the modern day NBA, you got to shoot the three. So that's going to be tough for them. That's going to be a challenge for them is not having no 3-point shooters on the floor. I mean, Bol can knock down a three every now and then. Jokic can knock down one or two, but not having a consistent 3-point shooter. And then, two, the playoffs is like we said before, it's a whole different beast. Like, you know, it slows down, it speeds up, and Jokic, there's dudes that have been training to be point guards for their whole life. Jokic ain't been doing that, so they understand how to control the tempo and pace. Yeah, and he don't understand that. So, like you said, it's just the exhibition games. When playoffs come, they're gonna go back to that normal lineup.
Yeah, and we'll see how long they can sustain it. I do like though. And I will say this, I do like when NBA teams experiment. Yeah. I'm a fan of that, actually. You know, when the Warriors did what they did, the first guy...
That changed basketball.
Yeah, exactly. And the first guy to really do it, even before Mark Jackson, if you really go back to that Re-Believe team, was Don Nelson. Yep. He was the true small ball guy. You got to keep in mind, it was Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, Al Harrington, Monte Ellis, Baron Davis, right? I mean, there's no... big there, you know what I'm saying?
Al Harrington was playing the five.
Exactly, and that was the true, to me, the antithesis or the catalyst that started at least the idea of this could actually happen. You know what I mean? Small ball, versatility, skill, fast shots, you know, bunch of shots. Like I really and I'm a fan of that. You know, I like when coaches experiment, especially NBA coaches, because again, you know, you're getting 6 figures a year. You can't just, you know, you got to pick things apart. You got to think outside the box. There's some defensive schemes I've taken from Steve Kerr. There's some offensive schemes I've taken from Greg Popovich, because these guys typically should be the masters of their craft. Of course, I look at college guys too, but, you know, there's some scenarios, man. I'm telling you, when there's 5 seconds left in the game, I'm recording and watching over and over again with the NBA players, because they're gonna come out with their best fucking play, and I'm like, I gotta steal that.
I like that.
I like that too, but you know the thing though, like with the way the modern day basketball changed with Steph Curry and them, it upped the scores. You know what I mean, and then defense got lost.
Yeah,
defense got lost, and now like you're not really seeing like. You see games 130, 140, and that appeases to like, you know, like the fans. But as coaches, you like, dang, bro, like how you let them score 140? Now, granted, they are NBA basketball players, and that's the highest level of basketball. But the game changed so much from the 80s to the modern day basketball that, you know, anything that you touch is a foul. And that's got kids like playing phantom defense now.
Yeah. Who are you telling? Yeah, no, and you're right. It trickles down. It's a trickle down effect from the top level down. Wanted to talk more about Courtside and their tournaments. You know, Elijah Wan, love that you keep doing what you're doing. Just some interesting news, and this is, like I said, just an interesting thing that was brought to my attention. There are some places, like TJ said, doing tournaments and stuff, but they're charging upwards from $500 to $1,000 per team. You know what I mean? I really feel there's some directors out there taking advantage of this pandemic. There's also directors out there who hate on what's going on, because the director for Top Notch Tournaments, he went on his social media. I think I talked to you about it before. He went on his social media and literally put Courtside on blast. And funny enough, he tried to start his tournaments at Courtside until they were like, nah, we're cool, bro. This was before COVID. So he then, you know, went under the guise, of course, of you're putting kids at risk, you're hurting people, you're spreading the infection. But I think it was Charles who responded right away to him on Instagram and said, dude, let's be real. If you were out here and you could run your tournaments, you'd be doing it just the same way. Because the only reason he can't is because, for one, he's in the Bay where the numbers are higher. And then, two, he runs his program or his tournaments out of schools. And schools are shut down. So he has no gyms. right? So he said, again, YBA, Courtside, Hardwood are just geographically lucky. If you just want the pure truth.
That's facts.
We are just geographically lucky. Nobody saw anything like this coming. But if anybody actually came to visit these facilities, you would see we are literally like nowhere. It's us and then jail. That's literally it. It's a county jail right next to us. I mean, that's all that's around here. So, I definitely appreciate what you're doing, Elijah. Keep it up, man. And bring your teams if you can. Be safe as you can. For parents who are against it and don't advocate for it, I totally empathize with you. I get it. You want to keep people safe, but it's statistically been proven this mentally hurts youth sitting in the house for months at a time like this. It stagnates their growth. It stagnates their intelligence. It stagnates their maturity. They need to go outdoors. They need to see the world. They need the sunlight.
adults,
Adults, we're older. We don't need that. We're good. But the youth definitely need it. So
people seem to think that the kids don't need to play.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of kids that if they don't play basketball, they won't do nothing.
Exactly.
They won't do nothing. And there's some athletic ass kids out here.
Yeah.
But instead of going to like play soccer or baseball or just go run track, they'll sit in the house because there ain't no basketball. And then you ask them what they did all day, be like, oh, coach, I woke up at 12. Like, you woke up at 12? Like, bro, I've been up since 5.
Yeah.
You woke up at 12?
And that's
Right.
it.
And then the parents will be like, well, he can't go play basketball. There's a park right down the street.
Right.
Like we talked about, playing outside, man. These kids, they
don't
not
understand
accustomed to
that.
it. They don't.
I guarantee you ask y'all some questions about playing outside, bros. Scars, the scrapes, the bruising, the sun.
Right.
Like, you fall outside, you're never gonna fall again. I promise you. That hot concrete gonna burn your ass. I promise you.
You definitely learn how
Shooting
to
in the
adjust.
wind. Shooting in the wind.
Hey, the worst rims to shoot on, double rims with no net. Like if you can shoot, you gonna figure out if you're a shooter.
Yeah.
It's the quickest way.
So then piggyback off of that too, though. Like, Mark, do you ever have parents that hit you up and be like, "Hey, how much is it to get in the gym?" Like, is there a gym where you're at that's like you could get in there and train, and they would charge you like an arm and a leg?
No, there is. There's a couple places. I mean, like right now, like I'm still outside. The funny thing is, I got the parents who are hitting me up talking about like is your facility open yet? I'm like, nah, we still training outside. So what? Does that mean your kid is not going to train until my gym opens up? So
pretty much.
I get more of that. Like, hey, did your gym open up yet? Like,
No.
I haven't seen so and so in almost 3 months. Like, so is he not? Is he working out? So that's what I mostly get right now because we've been grinding outside.
So the only reason why I asked that because I had a parent hit me up and was like, "Hey, like, so and so only wants to train in the gym," and I'm like, "Okay, well, it's $60 an hour."
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, can we do 80? I'll give you 80." I'm like, "No, like, I'm only making $20."
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, we're going for an hour and a half because all my training sessions are an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not making no money." So then she's like, "Well, how about we do a monthly thing?" I'm like, "That's even more expensive."
Yeah.
So, I just, only reason I ask that is because I got some kids that won't train unless it's inside.
Wow.
Like literally inside.
That tells me a lot already.
It does.
Right.
This-
And then, but the parents will be like, "Oh, Jimmy wants to go play for Kentucky."
Good luck.
Like,
Good luck.
Do you realize that there's some dudes that's out there shooting on the dirt? Like,
In Kentucky.
like there's a kid that on Instagram that DM Nelson trained that's all the way to Africa, bro. Like, there's no nets. Like, he's shooting on
Grinding.
crates in the like literally in the dirt. Like, there's no court, there's no lines or nothing.
Does he have shoes on?
He got shoes.
Oh, okay.
And that was the one thing that Dion Nelson sent him. He sent him some clothes and stuff. So the kid got shoes. But I'm talking about like these kids we talking about like they're going to Duke, but then you see that kid on Instagram that's like grinding like that every day. And even with your kids, Mark, I see your kids grinding every day. So but then you got kids that's grind like 2-3 days a week, but they talking about like I'm about to be a varsity starter.
I ain't gonna cut it.
Like,
I ain't gonna cut it.
You going to D6?
Yeah.
You going D6?
Pretty much.
Or you going to a private school where, you know what I mean, like a John Adams or something like that. Yeah, go there. You
You be the
average
man.
45 a game.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Well,
be-
it's funny because, like you said, with I know football starting in January. This is for CIF, and basketball's not starting until March. Like I said, this is gonna be the true test. Once March come around, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be the people who, okay, I'm gonna start working out around January, February. season about to start in March. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be people like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we still got
30
some of the
pounds of fat.
Yeah,
still there,
yeah,
right? So
yeah. And then you got the people, like I said, who are, 2 to 3 times a week till March. And then, like I said, you got the ones who are working like season about to start tomorrow. So when March do come around, they already D1 level or ready to go off to college or get a scholarship, where all the other kids are still trying to catch up. So for anybody listening, you know what I'm saying, keep working now. Work now.
And
I know everybody's gonna do that.
That was the other thing too. Like, you ain't never seen nothing like this ever before, where you've gotten an off season of like 9 months, 9 months, and then on top of that, like you get to play high school and AAU at the same time, potentially. So that's unprecedented to get something like that, and to see some kids like not working, even though that like you can't work in person with your trainer sometimes, maybe in certain areas. But bro, there's so many people out here on Instagram, YouTube that you can work with. Like, these
there's
kids,
resources.
There's no excuses not to be great or not to be grinding to get great. Like, too many kids ask to be great. Like, you got to work for that. Like,
it's true.
You know what I mean?
And an AAU is extending. That's the reality of it. AAU is extending. It'll probably go until February, and what we mean by AAU is there's going to be tournaments where there are tournaments. There's going to be practices when they can practice. I mean, you have distance learning going on. Because of distance learning, just for anybody who's listening, YBA is turning basically into a school. You know what I mean? We're going to, during the day, we're basically going to turn the facility into like a PE class / tutoring place / get your homework done, get your studies done, also a / daycare, you know what I mean? So everybody has to adapt. That's what we're turning our facility into, to try to adjust and deal with these times, because everything's uncertain, and we got rent to pay to keep the lights on, and I would like kids to keep getting better. I would like to keep seeing them grow, and you both said it and hit the nail on the head. Like, there's no excuse. There's just no excuse anymore. I can't take it. There's no excuse because you can't get into an air-conditioned gym. Well, I mean, there was people hooping before air-conditioned gyms. So, you figure it out, right? As Ted would say, figure it out.
The one thing I want to ask you, though, Chris, because like we talked about, with AAU and high school basketball at the same time, is what you going to do, man? Because you coach at Whitney and you coach at AAU. So what you going to advise your kids to do? What you going to advise them to do?
Well, when I shut down and I got to focus on Whitney, I'm going to hope my kids are, well, more than likely they'll still train, because I can still train and find that balance. Most of them are talented enough to play for multiple programs or even other YBA teams. So I'll encourage them to play for other teams until we can get moving, because my formula is going to be pretty simple. I want to have 1 day of practice and 1 day of team training. That's pretty much what I'm going to do.
But I'm saying, like, when the high school season starts, because, like, it's going to start in I think
March,
right?
February 22nd.
Right. So then they're going to have AAU tournaments going on during that time.
Oh, you're talking about high school? It's like during high school AAU tournaments?
So what are you going to advise your kids to do? Like, are you going to be that coach that's going to be like, hey, we're going out of town to LA? So, like,
it depends. I mean, if it's a showcase, I say go to the showcase. If one of my kids is on a circuit, I say go to the circuit on the weekend. Don't get hurt, come back, and be ready to go. Because the reality is, high school games typically fall on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Friday. So
you gonna choose to coach high school, or you gonna choose to coach AAU?
Oh, for me, I'll do both. I know I can manage both. Typically, pretty good. Worst case scenario, high school is always a priority. So if my kids ultimately are talented enough, good enough, they don't need me to be at the showcase to showcase their talents. The biggest reason they need me at the showcase is because I network. I network so much with everybody else, because I'm a JC coach. I'm a J. So when I take off the YBA polo, I throw on the American River polo, and I can sit next to these college coaches and have conversations with them and advocate for my kids. That's the only point where I would say they're missing. But because I'm now the regional, director or whatever, or like the regional basketball director for that Dream Scouting program. They're working with me, and what I basically essentially do, getting these coaches in touch with the kids. They're expanding their network into me and my network into them, so I don't necessarily have to be there to get those looks. So that's overall what I'm going to do. But high school is going to be a priority. It always has to be. And it's going to be a shorter season anyway. So, I like the atmosphere of high school. Me personally, I like the challenge of coaching high school. AAU teams are all-star teams. Let's just call it what it is. They're essentially all-star teams. You get the best kids typically around, and you play other kids that are the best kids from where they're around, and, may the winner win, right? High school is very strategic. You have to work with kids who might like basketball. You have to work with kids who might have one particular skill set, and you have to work and adjust around it. I mean, I'm at Whitney. It's not like I'm getting, Sheldon level talent. You know what I mean? Like, I have to figure it out and manage. And my JV last year went 21-7.
Ooh,
so
okay.
I had to figure it out. I had some kids who have literally no left hand,
and that's why I was getting to that. Is like, AAU is like a lot of kids gonna be like, oh, I'd rather just play AAU than play high school.
Yeah.
And what I would tell kids is there's nothing like high school. Like when you don't play high school, you look back on it and you be like, man, I play AAU. Nah, high school is like you said, it's a different challenge. Like you're going against, you're not on a team where you got your buddies, your best friends, and y'all went to Dallas and y'all played against this team and that team. Nah, some of these kids ain't never played before.
Yeah.
And especially at small schools.
They just happen to be tall.
Exactly.
And you're like, well, you're 6'5" randomly. So
and before tryouts, you're like, oh man, we got a really good team. We got a 6'5" kid. He go to tryouts, he can't catch the ball.
Exactly, and he still got a jersey though.
Right, he's starting.
Exactly. Well, the next thing I wanted to mention, especially while I was thinking about it, is happy birthday, Mark.
Oh, hey, thank you.
Yeah,
Birthday was yesterday.
I heard you
Appreciate
33, man. 33.
Yeah, man, I'm 33.
Getting old, man.
So is that considered OG, right?
Yeah, you getting close.
Okay.
But I don't know. You're part Asian, so you get like magically old and shit. You probably you're gonna live to be 120.
I'll take that.
You ever look back on it and be like, man, I remember I used to call people that was older than me old.
Yo, yeah. It's funny because, like I said, the way my kids talk to me is like,
old, bro.
what the hell?
It's hella disrespectful because in your mind you like, gosh damn, I wish I could get my 22-year-old body, 25-year-old body, and
It's funny how these kids want to challenge you when you turn
exactly.
a certain age. Then they want to start talking, but like you remember, like
exactly.
when you was 12, bro, you couldn't do no crossover. I would have killed you. When I was 12, my 12 versus your 12, I would have killed you.
Oh, that's true. Very true. I appreciate that though. Thank you.
No worries, man. Just wanted to give you that, and then the other thing was, I thought that was pretty funny. This is just kind of a funny thing that I was noticing with Courtside and the tournaments going on. A lot of teams are going under aliases because they don't want to necessarily get caught up. We're guilty of it as well. We go team Collins, team whatever. Like we don't say YBA. PHPS, I think they went under like superhero names, and I think other
Toon
teams.
Squad, actually.
Toon Squad. Like
Hey,
actually, shout out to them because they got a good team. They got a good team.
PHPS? Oh
yeah, they got a good team
for sure. They do. Some of the kids actually on that team, I know a couple of them played for me too, and no, they are. I was actually talking to Trail about, because his son's on one of their top teams. I wanted my 16U team. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I wanted my 16U team to play their 16U team because I think that'd be one hell of a good game. You know what I mean? So, PHPS, I'm sure if someone from there listens, we'll play each other soon. We'll play each other soon because I love good competition. I love good games. The next thing I wanted to do, I wanted to talk about kind of a new segment. I wanted to give what I want to call Coach Love, man. Like I want to give shout outs to coaches out there that I think that I watch, that I think are doing the right things, working hard, really just in it for the right reason. TJ, obviously you're here. I think you're doing a phenomenal job with your program. I saw Lee this weekend. Lee was out here. This is a cat we used to hoop with all the time, Mark. Lee's like OG Lee, you know what I mean? He's loud as hell and wanted to fight all the time and everything. I mean, if you knew this, he was think of the angriest guy you could think of and times it by 10. And that was Lee. Damn. Quick, he'd be quick to fight somebody in a second. But he came out here this weekend. He has a team from Galt. He coaches the high school in Galt, which is like nowhere. And
is that NorCal?
Yeah, it's out here. It's about 2 hours away from like where we're at right now, but it's very, very small population, very small area.
That's what everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what everywhere outside of Sac.
Yeah,
I've
pretty
been
much.
in Sac for 5 years and I still don't know where gold is.
Exactly. And he brought his team out here. He even had like some 8th graders, some freshmen, juniors, seniors, and played them up in 17U. They got destroyed. The first game they lost by 40. Second game they lost by 50.
Damn.
And he was still positive though. That's why I had to give him a lot of
What
credit.
program is that?
It's his high school team. I don't know what the name.
Okay,
I think he called it. Crap, I can't remember the name. It was some funny ass name too. I can't remember for the life of me. But I definitely want to give Lee some love, man, because it is very hard in the face of adversity to stay positive and keep coaching, especially when you're getting destroyed by 40 or 30 and 50.
Have you ever got beat by 50?
Yeah, oh yeah. I know people think it doesn't happen, but trust me, bro. My team's
Mark, have you ever been beat by 50 in your life? Like
Myself?
Like
50?
your team?
No, not 50. I've been blown out by like 35 in my playing days. Not
Right, when
50.
I was in high school, we lost 106 to 38.
No, you didn't. Oh
to
my
Garrett Sims' team.
God.
Garrett Sims, he went to Oregon.
Damn.
They had an all-star team, bro.
Wow.
Like I'm talking about, like we couldn't get the ball past half court.
Wow.
Like I'm talking about a varsity team that couldn't get the ball past half court.
Damn.
Like
what grade were you in?
Bro, I think I was a sophomore year.
Wow.
So it was a sophomore year, but we had like no excuses, but we had like 6 freshmen on our team. But still, like, bro, like literally the first half, they probably had like 30 dunks in the first half because he was like 6'4", bro, and I'm talking about like they just throw it up to him, he go get it, and I'm sitting on the side because at that time I had hurt my foot. I'm sitting on the side and I'm like, dang, bro, like, is this what the season gonna be like?
Man.
Like, is everybody like this?
Bro.
And I thought I was D1 in this. That dude, I'm like, yo, like, there's nothing we can do.
There's certain things you see like that. Now, I was lucky enough. Well, you know, my AAU program was the Oakland Rebels, so I was lucky enough. Most of our games were wins. This was before the Oakland Soldiers were even a thing, so the Oakland Rebels were keen, and we dominated. But and my high school team was really good. That was that Oakland Tech team with Leon Poe and all those guys, so we were really, really good. But I can remember middle school games and elementary school games, bro, we got smacked a few times, and you just, you deal with it, keep going, go
you
from there.
You don't even know what to tell your friends after the game.
Right.
Like, especially like, I know because we all do. So, like, when you in high school, girls from other schools, you like, oh, yeah, she look good, like, before the game. And then once you get smacked, you like, oh, she don't look so good now.
Right.
She don't look so good now.
You just tell people I showed up.
Yeah. Right?
I was there.
And when your AAU team get blown out by 50, like, when you coaching, because I got blew out by 50 by the San Francisco Soldiers. Like, they blew us out they beat us 87-17.
Damn.
Like, they smacked us. And when you getting beat by that much, you can't do that but sit down.
Yeah.
Like, all you do is sit down, and when the kid come out the court and you see that look in his face, like, I'm scared. Like, you just like, oh, dang, like, my bad, bro. Like,
man.
That's when the huddles be the shortest
I didn't know what I was
conversation.
doing.
that's
you can't even tell, like, we're going to work on our offense because you can't even get the ball up the court. So you can't work on the offense. You're like, oh, just go out there and get some exercise.
Man, just stay positive. The other program I wanted to give some coach some love to was City Hot Shots. I cannot remember the guy's name. He's always real respectful to me too. White cat, but he's really cool. I think he does a phenomenal job. Win or lose, he's always coaching. He's always saying the right thing. So, for the coach for City Hot Shots, I wanted to definitely show you some respect.
I think he coached with over at Touch Shooting too. He coached at 12U.
I think so. Yeah,
he coached at 12U program too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he absolutely does. And like I said, he's always real respectful, really cool. Seems to really want to teach the kids the right game. Two of my kids play for him, Luca and Matt, and I think he just does a great job. So I like watching, as much as I see a bunch of coaches, I definitely like watching the coaches that show high IQ, high character, do the right thing. So I figured what better place than on our show to show them some love if they happen to hear it. So respectfully disrespectful, right? Let's talk about a couple of tough topics. Can kids be overtrained? You know what I mean? Can there be too many voices? Because we're all trainers here, we all have that lens. So I thought that was a pretty relevant conversation. Can there be too many voices? Influence a kid in terms of the training? What do you guys think?
For me, I mean, I always look at it like the more trainers, the better.
Mm-hmm.
As long as qualified trainers or not even qualified, because I don't think there's any qualification to become a trainer. But I think when you see the product that people put out, then you're like, okay, he knows what he's doing. Like I see them take that kid from ground level to now, and you're like, okay, yeah, I can trust one of my kids to go over there. And with that being said, like I think one of y'all got, YBA got Evans, man. Like that's my guy. Like I don't care what nobody say. Like whatever people say about us and our relationship, whatever, that's my guy. Like he's one of the dudes that I recommend people to. Like when I didn't have no gym, and like I said, little Jimmy wanted to come inside, I knew YBA was running, so I'm like, okay, like go train with him. Like that's my guy, and I tell him like, hey, I got so and so coming over to you. Like don't be easy. Like you know what I mean? Don't think that you got to do me a favor by charging them less or whatever, but you know what I mean? So I think if you respect the people that you're recommending, or you respect the people that the kids are going to train with, then that's good. But I still think that kids should have a house trainer, and that house trainer be their main trainer. I think that goes with NBA, college, high school, wherever you go. I think there's guys that go train with Chris Johnson and then, but they real trainer is Phil Handy. You know what I mean? Like that's their trainer, or maybe that's the team trainer or whatever. So as long as you're getting good work, then it's cool. But if you're going out there and he's just putting you through drills and not really explaining to you why you're doing that, or you're not getting any IQ growth out of it, then I suggest your parents train the trainer.
It's not a good fit.
Yeah. It's just not.
What about you, Mark?
I believe I was listening to Tim Grover the other day. He was talking about, when he was working with Kobe, Tim Grover trained with Jordan, Dwayne Wade, and he was working with Kobe. He said that there was a time span when he was working with Kobe where when Kobe hit him up, he wanted to have full control of what Kobe was doing. So not necessarily that Kobe was only going to him, because he knew that, of course, there's a lot of people who's working with Kobe, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to know what the strength and conditioning guy was doing, what the stretcher was doing, the guy who gets his jumpers. He needed to know what they were doing, so then he can adapt to that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Kobe reached out to him. And I believe, as a trainer, I don't mind when my players work with other people. You know what I'm saying? But in my mindset, I believe, the work speaks for itself. If a kid is going to consistently work with you, you know what I'm saying, and find ways to work with you, then there's a reason. If the kid has to bounce around, then they're still trying to find themselves, and that's why I believe in with what I do, you know what I'm saying, is if you can really just focus on the kid and really influence them and try to leave your fingerprints with them, I believe they're gonna have more success, right? Especially if the trainer knows what they're talking about, because I believe if he goes to another trainer or another strength and conditioning or whatever, and they're telling them something different, where we just been talking about that for almost a month and a half, and now you're changing it up, and now you have to go through, because there's always a transition period where if I got to work with a kid, I got to change a shot, or if I got to tell him like, hey man, that's not your game. I think the best way for you to be impactful is to be this kind of way. And then he works with somebody else who, he might have a lot of respect for, but then it's like, there's always going to be some kind of imbalance, some kind of inconsistency. I believe if you're able to stick with one or two people, and if the other person has the same game plan as you, you know what I'm saying, if you guys are able to work together, I truly believe that's how you really develop talent. You know what I'm saying? If you're able to do that, because you like you were saying, a lot of players work, especially at the NBA level. You'll see that, so and so is working with that trainer and that trainer, but at the end of the day, there's this one trainer that they always like. A lot of people go to Chris Brickley, but yet if you really notice, you know what I'm saying, some of the top players, you don't have to see it on camera. You know what I'm saying? They're with them behind the scenes all the time, because it's more than just the drills. You know what I'm saying? It's the conversations, it's the relationships, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I believe in is, if you can keep it at least maybe 3 people who are kind of helping you out, I think that's fine. Too many that's too many influences, you know what I'm saying, to be in your ear, to try to really help you grow. So that's what I kind of believe.
And just so I understand correctly, you think like communication amongst trainers is a key.
Yes.
To bridge that gap, right?
Like with Bracy,
how you say that's not gonna happen?
That's not gonna happen.
That's a strong statement. You think trainers can't communicate with each other?
No, there's no way, because at the end of the day, it's a money game. It's a money game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like why I say that is because y'all know, like, at the end of the day, y'all got to pay your bills.
True.
So, somebody once told me, like, McDonald's is not going to train Burger King, you know, employees and send them back to McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not going to train a kid for you and then send them back to you when I know I can consistently make that money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of trainers' perspective. So, but for me, it's a little bit different because, like I said, I have a day job. So if a kid don't want to train with me, all right, I'm not going to lose no sleep. I might not be able to get them pair of Jordans that I want, but I guarantee I'm going to still have cable and have lights and food on my table.
Well, I guess
like,
then
you know what I mean? So
then it comes down to the motivation of the trainer then, correct?
Yeah, but do you see that motivation from do you see it though as a parent? Parents don't always see what your motivation is just because they might see that you work with the top level talent in Sacramento, right? But then you get lower level talent and they just drop Billy off. They don't see that you sit Billy in the corner and just have him do handle drills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well,
and that's why I feel like the work speaks for itself depending on how the kid develops.
Right.
Because my example is, with Bracy. You know, we have, I've been working with MJ, but Bracy also, of course, he's an AAU coach, but he works with MJ as well. But we communicate. He'll let me know, like, all right, so MJ's gonna be with me a couple days this week. You know what I'm saying? So what kind of stuff have you guys been working on or whatever? So I let him know. But at the end of the day, it's like, for MJ, he knows that he's getting better when he comes to me and when he goes to Bracy. You know what I'm saying?
Because of the
but do y'all have a
relationship
relationship outside of just the training though?
Yeah, I'm pretty cool with Bracy. We're pretty, you know what I'm saying? We have he's, like I said, when I first moved out, and a lot of trainers won't do this. And I know, of course, I know you have your stuff with Marcus. Like when I first moved out here from San Diego, Marcus was one of the first ones that, approached me and one of the things, he's always still been the same, kind of annoying and kind of just always trying to be competitive and but I like that, to me, that motivates me, you know what I'm saying?
Course.
And then with Bracy, because I live in Dixon, Solano County area, he's also reached out to me where I know that a lot of trainers won't reach out to other trainers.
True.
You know what I'm saying? To be like, hey man, I want to help you out, this and that. So for Marcus to do that, for Bracy to do that, like I feel like that helped with everything else when it comes to just working with other players and me being comfortable. So, but I know what you mean because there are trainers where, like I said, I've felt certain hate. You know what I'm saying? And for like I haven't even talked to you. Remember I told you about the story about the whole T-shirt thing.
It's
real. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on the motivation and again, what's their end game. There's definitely clout chasing. Trainers, that's a very real thing. That's a they want the social media views. They want the video with the kid. They might train the kid once or twice. I mean, and they talk about, look, I made this guy or I made this, and that it goes back to kind of what Ted said and what I firmly believe. You have to be okay with letting go. You have to, when a kid that I've trained and worked with and coached for years is now about to play for West Coast Elite or the Oakland Soldiers or Team Lillard. I have to intrinsically be okay with that. I have to come up with, the emotional fortitude to say, you know what, it's okay because he's progressing, and that's ultimately the end game. If you're progressing, you're happy, I'm going to help the next generation and rinse and repeat. You know what I mean? So, but it is an interesting dichotomy. There's subsections of this whole basketball community. There's the ref community, there's the coaching community, there's the training community, there's the player community, the parent community. It is these weird communities within this basketball community, and some absolutely have the right motivations and the right heart in these areas, and some they're very corrupt and they just want money and they just want to take advantage and they just want to sell this esoteric dream of your kid's going to go to the league if they're with me, if they get this many views and this many videos, I made that happen, and it's some type of weird vicarious way to live through another person's success. That just goes back to the human condition. You got good people and you got bad people, what I mean, and there's going to be different people that find ways to make it work.
What's so funny about that is people don't realize that though. Like people on social media, they don't know that though. They don't
True.
know that kid don't train with
But
him all
social
the
media
time.
can portray you in so many different ways. You know that, man. I mean, there's literally people have a living. It's so funny to me. Social media influencers. That is an actual job now. You know what I mean? Like, and Photoshop, and I mean, women can make themselves look any way they type of way they want. So trust me, trainers and coaches can make themselves look any type of way they want. I really think it is very difficult in this day and age to be very transparent. I do believe everybody's entitled to a personal life. Now that's something totally different. Every fucking person is entitled to privacy and a personal life. But if you're going to talk in the midst of a public occupation, which like coaching, training and things are, it is hard to be really like transparent, because most people, again, everything has filters, right? Instagram has filters, Snapchat has filters. We're very good at filtering our life. We don't know how to sit there and strip away all the filters and say, this is who I am. I'm human. I messed up on this. I did this right. I did this wrong. And most of the things we put out there, and like I said, I'm guilty of it too, unless every now and then I put something in my stories. But, you know, most of the things I put out there is positive. And that's on purpose. That's not on accident. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we need a lot of positive, especially in this day and age we're living in. But again, there's, you know, true positivity, and there's, you know, false positivity. You know what I mean? And you just go through this minefield of figuring out who's who. You know what I mean? We've done this all long enough. We know a lot of these people behind the scenes enough. Mark, you're kind of learning it. You know who's for you and who's not. You know what I mean? And you just keep progressing from there. Going to the next thing, want to talk about
hell no.
Yeah, you know, that it's that time. So this goes out to you, Robinson and Team Touch. I received a video from someone from Matt Barnes Elite. You guys took a tough loss, buzzer beater. They won the overall tournament. Let me make that clear. Let me prefix it with that. They won the overall tournament, but they took a tough loss during the pool play. Kid hit a game winner, saw the game winner, and again, you guys didn't shake their hands. Gotta stop doing that. I can't make that express enough. Now, Robinson, I don't know if you just said that or Coach Kevin said, I don't know, because the only reason there's contrast is because when you guys beat Matt Barnes Elite in the championship, you had no problem shaking their hands. So you got to explain that one, bro. You can't be doing that, man. You can't only want to, oh, yeah, we'll shake hands, we'll elbows, whatever, when you take a L, or when you give L's. But when you take a L, you know, oh, it's COVID, man. We can't touch, man. It's COVID, bro. Like, come on, man. Be consistent, man. So I had to call you out on that one, man, because someone literally sent me the video of it. Someone was watching my, you know, like I said, there's quite a few people in this AAU community who are listening to my podcast, and they were like, hey, Chris, let me show you something. And they sent it to me, and I was just like, oh, damn.
petty.
Bro. I was like, yeah, man, being petty Patrick's right now, man. I'm like, you can't do that.
Competition changes some people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. And I get it, man. We all want to win. Nobody walks into a game or a tournament like, all right, man, let's go 0-3 right now. But, you know, you got to respect your opponent, man, at least. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are some times where coaches do a little too much, parents say a little too much, and you don't want to shake their hands and you don't want to, you know, do the higher road. But my advice is, man, sugar's always better than salt. So, you know, just try to at least portray, right? Even if you don't internally feel it, try to portray that professionalism and just do the right thing. Because I know Robinson personally, and he's a good dude, and he's a lot better than that. So
lead by example.
Yeah,
lead
exactly.
by example.
Getting towards the end, just want to give my team shout outs for the weekend. Team Touch, shout out to you. Got you all net on that one. Also NorCal Ducks. Their 17U team won at Courtside, and from what I heard, they were pretty damn good. They're a pretty damn good team. Courtney, looks like you're doing a good job out there in Chico. Keep it up. Let me give you an all net on that one. Who else? What was the Fresno team you were talking about?
Everybody
TJ?
Eats.
Yeah, everybody eats. Everybody eats out there in Fresno. From what I've been told by Elijah and from other coaches and watching you guys play, you're doing a great job. You have some tough athletes. You're getting ready to go to Vegas, from what TJ just told me. Safe travels. Be safe. Coach, take care of your kids. No, we've never met, but when I see good programs and I see good coaches, you know, got to give you a shout out, man. You're doing your thing. City Hot Shots again. Great job on everything you're doing. I love what you're doing, Coach. I know a couple of my players are with you. Every time I see you, you're always very respectful. I appreciate that. And you know, for all you coaches out there, keep doing your thing. It's some strange times. It's kind of weird looking at everything, but that's why I created this platform to talk about it and to get our voices out there and get our thoughts out there. And maybe if something sticks to you, you know, leave a comment. Leave a comment on the YouTube. Follow us on IG. Leave a comment on the photos. Like anything and everything is on the table. It's about that life, man. Everything's on the table, and that's why I appreciate like TJ taking the time to come out here and voice his truth and say his opinion. So the biggest thing moving forward, I'll let you know, but we might not be able to do this coming Sunday. But that's a slight maybe. I might have to go out of town, but just down to the Bay. But I'll let you guys know. I'll let you brothers know.
Vacation? You gonna take your vacation?
Yeah, right. Me with a vacation? Yeah, right. Vacation is going to UPS, I guess. No, again, TJ, I just wanted to say thanks for coming on here, brother. You know, like I said, me and you have known each other quite a while and hooped against each other, hooped with each other, you know, watching your evolution grow. We've had plenty of our coming to Jesus talks, it takes a lot of courage to be able to put yourself on a platform like this and speak your truth and put yourself in a vulnerable position. I don't mean vulnerable like you some bitch or something like that. I'm just saying, talking about like, you're just saying, look, this is who I am. I haven't done everything perfect, but I'm trying to do better every day. So I just wanted to give you a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all having me. Being able to sit on here and listen and also be able to participate as far as talking about everything, it makes it easier for people to understand like why you do the things that you do and why you move the way you move. And when people understand that, they might not like you, but they might respect it. And that's all that I ask from people is just respect what I do. Like, and when people talk about me, like, first thing you say off top is that dude is about the kids. Like, that dude cares about the kids. Like, you can say, oh, you know, he might not play my kid. He might not talk well about my kid as far as, you know, what he thinks my kid can do or whatever. But first and foremost, just say, you know, he cares about the kids. And if that's somebody tell me that you said something bad about me and they said that you said that first, I don't care what bad things you said about me, because at that point I respect you because you know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
Right.
So.
No, that's cool. Mark, any closing words for you, brother?
No, man, just wanted to say thank you for coming. Definitely respect, man, your grind, just listening to you and everything that you're doing. And yeah, man, just keep chasing the bigger picture, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, we out of here, and hopefully everybody keeps enjoying the content. I know I get a lot of positive feedback. Every episode, we try to do better. We try to keep giving you guys good things to listen to. I know people listen to this on their car rides to work. They listen to it from work. I know, a lot of people look forward, including my mother. So shout out to my mother. She really looks forward to the YouTube tapes. And I think Ty, our camera guy, can't give him enough credit because he's out here doing a phenomenal job.
Shout out to Ty.
All right. And you know, I'm glad we got an opportunity to talk to a director. Supposedly Dwayne Childs from Matt Barnes Elite wants to sit down and be on the next episode.
Okay.
So that should be interesting because he's definitely not a fan of YBA. But that should be a good conversation.
That's my guy.
Yeah, so that if that happens, hey, Dwayne, you're more than welcome to sit down on this couch and let's talk about things. And I'm all good with that because, again, don't want to be in an echo chamber. I want people to hear our truths. I want people to have adverse opinions of myself, and let's see if we can reach some common ground, because like TJ said, it's about respect. It's about respect, and it's about the kids. Please, again, I'm just gonna reiterate again, hit that subscribe, hit that follow. We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Alexa, anywhere there's a podcast, you can find us. You know what I mean? Again, one small click from you means a lot for us. Also, I'm YBA is going to become a school. So anybody interested in that, hit us up. And also, if you're looking for scouting for your kid, I am the regional director for Dream Scouting. So please check that out. You got Mark with GGT Training. Hit him up. Follow him on his IG. You got TJ with Clutch Elite Training. Hit him up for his IG. And if you need a videographer, hit up my guy Ty on his IG. And, everybody, hopefully you have a blessed day. And we out.